Hey everybody, Steve Billman here. Thanks for joining me. Hey, we're going to continue our video series called Harmony for Songwriters, and this is going to be video 4. And as I've said before, if you haven't seen the previous videos, I would recommend watching those first before you jump into this particular video, just because I want to make sure that you don't miss anything that went before this, because you're going to need to understand certain things. So. All right, so today what we're going to cover is we are going to cover a minor key. And more specifically, we are going to create a minor scale and we are going to harmonize that minor scale just like we did with the major scale. So there are minor keys and there are major keys. And the minor key is going to have a little bit more of a sad feel to it, a little bit darker because in general, minor intervals are going to create more of a sadness, and major intervals are going to create more of a sort of a brightness, if you will, or a happy kind of feel. Scales, chords, melodies, all that have emotions. And as a songwriter or as a composer, these are the tools we can use to express what we're feeling. So, we are going to learn the G minor scale. Now, there are 3 kinds of minor scales. Unlike major, it's the same no matter what key you're in. There's only one scale and there's only one group of notes that you play. But with a minor key, there are 3 sort of variations of a minor scale. The first one is called natural minor. The second one is called harmonic minor. And the third one is called melodic minor. Now, and each one of the scales is slightly different. So it produces a different chord system. But what we're going to focus on, at least right now, is we're going to focus on the natural minor scale. Sometimes it's also called the relative minor, but that's a discussion for another time, and I'll explain what that means in other videos. But we're in the key of G minor, so we're going to learn the G natural minor scale. Okay, now let's learn the scale first, and then I'll get into the intervals a little bit. So we're going to start in the same place we started on the major. So we're going to start on our G, and we're going to play G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, and then G. Okay. Now, last few videos back, when we were harmonizing the chords for the G major scale, I talked about the difference between a minor third and a major third. So remember that from G in G major, to get to the correct interval, we had to go up 2 whole steps, G to A and then A to B. That makes a major third. Okay, and again, this is the reason I want to make sure that you've looked at the other videos before you go on. And remember also I said to make a minor third, you go up a whole step and a half step. So in this case, in this scale, that's what we're doing, is we're going up a whole step and a half step. So that B flat then from G, G being the first note, the root, that B flat becomes a minor third. Okay? In the G major scale, B natural, it was a major third. Also, E natural, a major sixth. So here's the key too. When you lower a major interval, half step, that interval then becomes minor. So E was the major sixth in the key of G major, but now that we have G minor, it becomes E flat. It's a half step lower, and that becomes a minor sixth. All right? 7th step of the major scale, we had an F sharp. In this minor scale, we have an F natural. So again, F sharp is a major 7th. When we lower that a half step, it becomes F natural and it becomes a minor 7th. And again, you guys, I don't want to get into the weeds of the music theory right now, but that I just touched on it a little bit. But again, I'm going to have videos up that's going to break down what intervals are and all that stuff. But it's really important that you understand that as we're getting better as musicians and as we're building this knowledge to build chords and different things, because chords are just intervals stacked. So stacked meaning, you put the notes on top of each other. So it's really important that you understand what an interval is so that you know how to build a minor chord. You have to know what a minor third is on a minor chord to be able to build that chord. So we'll get into it in more depth, I promise. Just know that we have a minor third in this scale, a minor sixth, and a minor seventh. So we have three notes that are minor, which again, that sort of gives that sad kind of melancholy feel to this particular scale. So when we harmonize the chords, it's going to have that same kind of feel. It's great because we have the happiness or the brightness of the major key, and we have the sort of sadness or the melancholy of the minor key. And these are tools we use to express our emotions. Okay? All right. So just like the major key, I'm going to stack the notes in thirds to get the chord system. Okay? Same exact thing. And remember that we're only going to use notes that are related to this G natural minor scale. So if you're playing a note outside the scale, it's going to be wrong. And also remember that we're dealing with triads. In my earlier videos, I talked to the difference between a triad, a 3-note chord, and a 7th chord, the 4-note chord. So we're going to focus right now on triads, okay? So I take the first note of the scale, which is G. That's going to be my first chord. I go up 3 scale steps from there. I land on B flat. So again, that gives me the third. And we talked that it was a minor third. We talked about that. From the B flat, I go up 3 scale steps. B flat, C, D. There's my last note of the triad. So G, B flat, D. When I have a root, a minor third, and a perfect fifth, I have a minor chord. So G minor. And remember the Roman numeral, lowercase 1, and then MI. Okay, second scale step is A. Again, I go up 3 scale steps to get to the third. A, B flat, C. That gives me the third, so A to C, and then I go 3 notes up to give me the fifth. C, D, E flat. Now, again, this is producing a diminished triad, which again, I don't want to get into the theory of it too much. But just understand that a diminished triad is constructed by a root, A minor third, C in this case, and then a diminished fifth, E flat in this case, okay? So when you play those notes together, it sort of has, like I said before, that scary kind of sound to it. A, C, and E flat. So A diminished, and remember the diminished sign, uppercase letter A, that little, percentage sign or, degree sign, the little circle next to it, that identifies it as a diminished chord. For the Roman numeral, it would be lowercase 2, and then that same little circle next to it. Okay, next scale step is B flat, right? So I go 3 scale steps up, B flat, C, D, that gives me the third. And if I look at it, whole step from B flat to C, whole step from C to D. When I have 2 whole steps from the root, it's always a major third. B flat, D, and then on top, I have this F. If I go 3 scale steps up, B flat, D, F, gives me a B flat major triad. All right? Okay. 4th scale step is a C. Do the same thing. I go up 3 scale steps. C is the root. E flat's the third. G's the fifth. So the distance between C and E flat, whole step and a half step. When I have a whole step and a half step, I have a minor third. So C, E flat, G, perfect fifth. When I have a root, minor third, perfect fifth, that gives me a minor chord. So the 4th chord is a C minor, uppercase C, MI, and then underneath it, lowercase Roman numeral 4, MI. Next scale step is D. If I play up 3 steps, scale steps. I land on F, 3 scale steps. I land on A. Remember, when we get to the end of G, we go back to the beginning of the alphabet, and A is our next note. So D, whole step. Well, in this scale, it's a half step. Half step, and then whole step. Remember, it works either way, whole step, half step, whole step. That gives us a minor third. So D to F is a minor third. A on top is a perfect fifth. When I have a root, a minor third, and a perfect fifth, I have a minor chord. We're getting there. We're almost there. So the next step is E flat. Oh, so in that case, it's D minor, if I didn't say that. So let me just kind of review up to this point. G minor, G, B flat, D, A diminished, A, C, E flat, B flat major, B flat, D, F, C minor, C, E flat, G, D minor, D, F, A. All right, the next then is E flat. So next scale step, E flat. There's my third. And again, if I look at the fretboard, E flat up to F is a whole step, up to G is a whole step. When I have 2 whole steps, it's a major third. B flat on top is a perfect fifth. When I have a root, major third, perfect fifth, I have a major chord. So you can see it doesn't change. It's always going to be the same. If you have 2 whole steps from the root of the chord, you're going to have a major third. If you have a whole step and a half step, or a half step, whole step, either way, then you're going to have a minor third. Okay? All right, so that's E flat major is our chord. And in that case, it's going to be a Roman numeral uppercase 6. And remember, you don't have to put MA or MAJ with the major chords, just uppercase letters and uppercase Roman numerals. Our last note is going to be F of the scale. And so I play up 3 scale steps. F, G, and A gives me the third. And then A, B flat, C gives me the fifth. So from F, whole step to A, 2 whole steps makes a major third. A perfect fifth, when I have a root, major third, perfect fifth, I have a major triad. And then the last chord is the same as the first chord, the 8. Okay? So just like the major key, right? I have 3 major chords and 3 minor chords and 1 diminished chord. But with the minor key, it's the chord qualities are in different places. The first chord is minor. In major, the first chord, G major, the first chord is major, right? So the order is different, but the amount of minor, major, and diminished chords are exactly the same. Okay? All right. So let's just review it one more time. So I have G minor is 1 minor. That's G, B flat, and D. A diminished is 2 diminished, and the diminished is the little circle on it. The 3 chord is B flat major, and that's a major chord, so you can use an uppercase letter 3. The 4th chord is C minor, C, E flat, G, lowercase 4, MI, Roman numeral 4. The 5th chord is D minor, D, F, A, and again, I'm sorry, that's the 5 chord. The 5 chord, D, F, A, lowercase 5 minor. The 6th chord, E flat major, E flat, G, B flat, and the Roman numeral is just an uppercase Roman numeral 6. And then the last one, F, is an F major chord, F, A, C, and the Roman numeral is uppercase Roman numeral 7. And then we go back to the 1 chord, and that goes back to the one minor. All right? So that's our construction of the G natural minor scale. So here's what I want you guys to do for the next video. Actually, it'll be video 6. I want you guys to construct on either manuscript paper, if you know how to write out the notes, write out the triads, or regular paper if you don't, and it's fine. And we just basically want the chords. That's the most important thing. So on a sheet of paper, you're going to write the chord symbols for G major. Okay, and again, go back to the first two videos if you're not sure what that is. So just to review, G major is the first chord in the key of G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished. So write out those chords in a line. Underneath it, put the proper Roman numeral. So G major is an uppercase Roman numeral 1, A minor, lowercase 2 minor, MI, and do that for all the chords. Remember that the F sharp diminished, again, you're going to put F sharp and then that little percentage sign or the degree sign next to it, little circle. So that'll be on the top. Below that, I want you to put the chord symbols for the minor scale, what we just went over, the natural minor scale, G natural minor. So again, it's going to be G minor, and then A diminished, the little circle, B flat major, and remember with the major chords, you don't put MA. Then the 4 chord is going to be C minor, uppercase C, MI. Then the 5th chord D minor, 6th chord E flat major, 7th chord F major, and then back to the 1 chord G minor. So it's going to be in a row just like this, right? Each one, and the major will be above, the minor will be below. And then under the minor chords, be sure to include the Roman numerals, because that's something we want to memorize as well. So on the top, you'll have the major chords. Underneath it, you'll have the Roman numerals for those, each one of those major chords. And then you'll have the minor chords underneath that. And then below that, you'll have the Roman numerals for the minor chords. Okay? All right. I think that's it. I hope this helped you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.